So hi everyone. Good evening, good afternoon, good morning. I think most people are from India, but still, wherever you are, wishing you a good time. And then welcome to this QETCI Quantum Pulse session. It's a monthly session that we conduct, which is focused on doing a deep dive into one of the topics that is pertinent to quantum. Today we have a very interesting and very relevant topic. In India, we've started looking very actively towards the end user industry and the applications of quantum. And today's topic is quantum in the life sciences and healthcare industries. So, in order to, before, I introduce the panelists, just for everybody's reference, when I say life sciences and healthcare, it pretty much includes uh, companies that are focused on the pharmaceutical sector, the companies which are focused on medical equipment, all the companies that are working on biotechnology for the purpose of health and wellness, and of course the healthcare industry overall, right? So this is the entire segment that we are talking about. The segment is very big. I don't think one discussion is going to give you a very full picture of what is, the possibilities across all the sectors. But what we've tried to do today is to get a fair representation with the people, through a conversation with people who are actually doing work in this space, right? So right from research, and here we've not brought in anybody in today's discussion from the academia, but people who are doing applied research and working in the industry. Since we're talking about the end user industry segment, so we are trying to see what is it that the users can use today and tomorrow and day after tomorrow. So with that, I want to thank the panelists for joining us today. And we have Dr. Anirban Mukherjee, who's from TCS, and he is somebody who's very focused on the research side for quantum chemistry, right? And chemistry has big applications on the sector that we're talking about. We have Lakshya from QPI AI. QPI AI is the first indigenous quantum computing company in India, which already has a 25 qubit computer. And I think today is an interesting day because today or yesterday itself, 32 million USD round was announced. Series A round was announced for QPI AI. So the quantum industry in India has definitely arrived, so to say. And then he's the CTO, so he will, and he's been interacting with customers. We have Shyam Sundar Gopasana, who is from Accenture. And apart from his role in Accenture, he's been doing a lot of work with the World Economic Forum as well, focused on quantum. And so, all the experience, not just from India, but from across the world, hopefully, that will help us understand this a little better. While I've given a little bit of an introduction to our panelists and welcome to you all, I do want all of you to just give a brief idea of the nature of the work that you're doing, maybe just a very quick 2-minute kind of an introduction which sets the context. So we will start with Sham with you, reverse from how I introduced you guys.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
Is my audio clear?
Yeah, your audio is good. Yeah.
Okay, thanks a lot, Trina and QETCI team for having me here. My name is Shyam. I have been working with Accenture for 17 plus years, and over the last 5 years, I have been working in the quantum AI and HPC divisions. We work primarily in the research areas of applied algorithms for multiple projects that are tied to industry problems. I'm focused on finance and also in healthcare, telecom, energy utilities. We develop methods and run them on emerging hardware and solvers, both within India and outside. I have project experience of running proof of concepts for clients in the insurance industry, etc., like that. We also have a long-standing relationship with the Indian Institute of Science doing research projects, that is to understand quantum machine learning better, the application of quantum chemistry simulations. And just a few weeks back, we started a new project on quantum sensing with them. And apart from that, over the last 7, 8 months, I have been working as an industry fellow for quantum technologies at the World Economic Forum, where we discuss with the technology experts, the quantum technology experts in startups and big tech companies. We also discuss with early adopters in the different industries, healthcare, pharma, energy, utilities, finance, and also with policymakers and regulators to see what worked well for the early adopters, what were the challenges they have faced, how they were able to overcome. And we try to distill all of that information and publish reports that are accessible for anyone on the planet so that new entrants can learn from the mistakes of the previous people or previous teams and apply it in a similar way or in a different way in their own organization and help accelerate the advancement of quantum in their companies.
Thank
That's
you, Lakshya.
Hello, hi everyone. I'm Lakshya, and I lead the algorithms and technology group here at QPI AI. We're a full stack quantum computing company. We build quantum computing systems and the entire stack that enables users to interact with the devices, develop algorithms, experiment with various kinds of algorithms, and ultimately, transition them towards utility scale computing. And my role here is primarily focused on building technologies and products that can bring real use cases to life, especially in the domain of computational chemistry, biology, and around certain aspects of applying quantum inspired optimization to these domains. Beyond that, being a technology company, we are agnostic to the kind of industries that we work with. We are quite focused on the end applications and the end users. And I do believe that this is a great opportunity for us to interact with the community here and understand more from them, how they are looking forward to adopt quantum computing.
Sure, thanks. Anirban, over to you.
Yeah, hi. Thank you so much, Rina, for inviting me to this call. So, I am actually from a background of quantum condensed matter, quantum computing. Then I transitioned into industry with quantum chemistry, and I am while TCS has been focusing on quantum sensing, quantum security, as well as in the areas of quantum chemistry. My focus area is in quantum chemistry here. So typically, we focus on developing algorithms from the base maths layer stack of how to accelerate solving the base eigenvalue equations of mathematical equations of linear algebra kind, and then transitioning them all the way up to actually pharmaceutical problems in drug development. So we find out the real bottlenecks in that problem coming from atomistic modeling and then resolve them. So yeah, it's glad to be here. Thank you.
Sure, yeah. So once again, warm welcome. As you can see that there is a good representation for what is happening in the industry through this group. So let's make the most of it. I'm going to ask my first question, same question for all the panelists. Could you give us a sense of what are the typical use cases or not typical, what are the use cases that you've been working on for any of the companies in these sectors that we've outlined? And maybe Lakshya, you can tell us a little bit about what you were doing.
Sure. So, as I said, that we are a technology company. We are building the stack that can adopt various kinds of applications and use cases. We have been working with several global pharma majors, and the kind of use cases that come in are quite diverse. So, one category of use cases come in from taking the atomistic and molecular kind of simulations for drug molecules. So that's one of the base where we are starting using quantum mechanics and quantum mechanical techniques and quantum computation to address those computational bottlenecks across drug molecules and drug-like molecules. So that's one domain. Typical use cases are around estimation of binding energies, how to have really accurate calculations around protein and ligand interactions, and how to use those kind of computations to accelerate traditional AI. This is one bucket of use cases. Other bucket of use cases is around the later phase of drug discovery, where Even in industrial scale manufacturing, a lot of computational simulations are needed to enhance the efficiencies of those processes. And that is one domain that we have been heavily invested as a core domain for us. We are working with the CMC divisions of several pharma companies. And this is one big bottleneck for organizations who are manufacturing drug at scale, how to make it cheaper, more efficient, faster, and also add that component of sustainability around the materials through which these drugs are developed. So that's another domain. One of the other domain is towards building mechanistic models of population scale analysis of healthcare, right? So we have moved far away from the atomistic and molecular scale to population scales where we do study various kinds of mathematical models and how these techniques are quite hard to solve on classical computers, even supercomputing systems. So how we can apply and intervene with quantum computing and analyze the population scale statistics of various therapeutic areas. That's one. Interestingly, one of the overlapping domains here is also the domain of genomics, where we are exploring quantum inspired optimization algorithms to accelerate some of these processes around sequence alignment and reconstruction. So it's a fairly broad domain. There are certain other projects as well, which are more into diagnostics and clinical trial design, but then it's a broad spectrum.
Right. Sure. So, Anirban, could you shed some light on the kind of projects that TCS is doing in this domain?
Sure. So, as a whole, TCS is of course doing a lot of different things in different parts of the drug development. There are teams who work towards looking into manufacturing, teams that look into security areas. Also, security is also an important concern even in pharma industry. There are records that you want to medical records, right? Then, of course, I mean, there is no question about the fact that you want to study molecular systems, chemical systems, and in different parts of the drug development workflow. So we are definitely interested in looking into how quantum chemistry can play a role in post after the drug discovery parts, when you start looking into lead optimization, when you look into uh, c- designing catalysts, drug reaction modeling, right? These questions are important. Here also we actually get into customer calls where the customers also understand the hard chemistry problems here. So the real first work that we both get into, we as and the customers, are finding that hard chemistry problems. By hard, I mean to say that there is a lot of reaction modeling towards synthesizing a drug, towards making the drug yield better, towards making sure that the drug does not degrade that easily, or looking into biologicals. So there are a multitude of scenarios, and some cases your expiry dates are needed to be longer. In some cases, the expiry dates are not longer. It's going to expire very soon. So in that cases, how do you find out those quantities? Those are all actually related to chemical kinetics, and the chemical kinetics is in turn related to finding out very detailed parameter sets of problems which are related to quantum mechanical calculations. So of course, quantum computing is definitely one way of doing it. So, but we focus on both how quantum inspired approaches, basically using tensorization based approaches, and quantum computing, both how they can help in actually alleviating some of the pain points which are, let's say, not necessarily available from other computational chemistry suites. And that is not that it is not that it is not that it's not the accuracy issue only. It's just that you may not be able to at all compute that quantity on today's HPCs or supercomputers, because they require so much processing of information, let's say petabytes of data, for example. So quantum computing can definitely play a role in alleviating some of those pain points, let's say around 100 qubits. So one of the major works that we have been showing is what are the 100 qubit applications for life sciences. So as we are nearing the 100 qubit age in many cases, of course they're still noisy, but at least we have the 100 qubits. So so therefore questions are that what are the things we can do, and it is a very difficult journey, but it's same thing very promising and rewarding if we can find out, even as we progress towards better and better qubits, what are the quantities that we can reliably compute out of a 100 qubit quantum computer, that we cannot do it from an HPC, for instance, because
Right.
we really are trying to find out that sweet spots of problems and find some application of a quantum computer which is more than just giving them a brand value, but rather giving them some value that they can use as a part of their workings in their organization. So that is the goal overall.
Right. So over to you, Shyam, in terms of what you are seeing, especially since you're also looking at many companies who are adopting outside India as well, right? Like from the healthcare and life sciences sector. So which are the use cases? Which are the most prominent ones?
Uh, yeah, can I share those slides of the World Economic Forum report? That would help.
Yeah, sure, sure. You can share. Sharing is enabled.
Share screen. Can you see my screen?
Yes.
Oh, okay, so this is a report that Accenture has jointly published with the World Economic Forum in January 2025, which details a lot of points about how businesses can understand what is the art of possible with various quantum technologies, how the other companies have already implemented it, and what will be the next steps for interested parties to take it ahead. And what we have seen over here as part of our analysis by discussing with several stakeholders is that in the pharma and healthcare sector, there are many companies who have already started working on quantum compute, primarily because there are biotech companies, bioinformatic companies, and startups that are focused on solving difficult, complex chemical simulations that happen, chemical activities that happen by drugs as well as the cell machinery. And it is not quite far from the leader of all the industries. Financial services is where the compute is at a maximum number of utility in terms of applications, but pharma is not very far away. And the other interesting thing is that of all the industries that we have seen, quantum sensing, which is another important technology, which according to us will reach much more, which will reach maturity much more faster than compute. Healthcare and pharma is the topmost industry to do proof of concepts, to do research, in trying to find better ways to understand how biomarker detection can be done, how diagnosis of diseases can be done, or certain underlying conditions can be done. And we have done a thorough use case mapping of different examples that we have come across as part of the forum. In this graph, you can also check this in the report. It is accessible as if you search for the report on internet, you can download a PDF of it. And in the chapter that focuses on pharma and healthcare, you can see this graph which shows a mapping between business value, that is a return on investment versus the feasibility. So some projects, very few of them are in research stage. Many of them are bundled in either proof of concept, or some are even in the pilotable stage. And according to the color coding, these blue are the POCs that are being done, but have a lot of business value, business potential. They are on ligand in protein interaction simulation, the examples that both Lakshya and Dr. Anirban have given. And there is a very good example of mRNA secondary structure prediction being done by IBM and Moderna. And mRNA is the actual blueprint that will help to tell the proteins how to fold, so that the medicine that is being introduced as part of mRNA can indirectly help in resolving the underlying structure in the body. And a lot of machine learning is being implemented, quantum machine learning and quantum optimization techniques in how to optimize clinical trials, like in the drug discovery or drug design process, not just drug discovery. Once the drug is approved, you go for clinical trials, and they are done in three different stages. First stage is that minimal set of people. If it passes, then it goes to second stage, where a larger set of people, and then it goes to the another set of stage, the final stage where even more larger number of people are tested upon. Only if the drug is able to screen through that stage, it will be approved by the authorities like FDA to mass produce and put it into the market. And many of the drugs that have been discovered and developed until clinical trial stage 2, they are failing, about 40% of them, in the final clinical trial stage. So a lot of interesting techniques are being applied to understand what are the potential patients who are the potential patients who should be picked to do those clinical trials. And also in several other areas, there are a lot of machine learning applications which are not giving you accurate or faster results. There also quantum can be applied. And the other areas are which are slowly moving from POC to pilot is the usage of sensors. I can probably give an example in detail later, but there are limitations with existing machinery that is being used in the radiology department. Over time, these instruments are getting degraded and they're not giving you correct results. The clinicians are not able to properly use them. So in order to overcome them, you need better instruments which are both stable, like even after long years of time, you can still rely on those instruments. And also it is easy for the clinicians to use it, whether they are in US or in India or wherever. So that is where the industry is moving, really.
All
And
right.
if you ask about Accenture, I'll stop sharing my screen. Accenture has been in quantum for since like 2017. Our first project was itself on drug discovery. We partnered with a company called Biogen. They already have a drug discovery pipeline for tackling neurodegenerative diseases. We created an application to help understand the mapping between a protein structure, the target protein structure, and the structure of the input molecule, the drug molecule. We transformed it into a graph problem and applied a few techniques to help tell the score, like if this molecule is selected, will this be a good target or not? And obviously in 2017, the field of quantum was like very, very early. We really could not scale larger. But now there are many other companies who have worked on drug discovery, Anirban being one of them. And we also focused a lot on diagnostics, wherein, for example, the European Accenture team has worked with the University of Latvia, where they have compared the usage of classical Boltzmann machine with the quantum version of Boltzmann machine for chest X-ray prediction, and they were able to see at least good and in some cases better results when compared to the classical Boltzmann machine. So that was using D-Wave systems. And the other application was in trying to identify the better paths to do radiation. Like in one of the cancer treatments, they use radiation, right? But most cases, along with the bad cells, the cancer cells, the good cells surrounding are also destroyed, and that create a lot of bad effects. So by taking in the patient data, the cellular data of the patient, let's say somebody is trying to get a lung cancer being cured. So taking many photographs of the patient data and also the position of the radiation emitter, we try to map better ways to find the patterns so that only the target cancer cells are targeted and destroyed, not the nearby healthy tissue.
So this was AI and quantum together, or
Yeah,
just
yeah,
quantum?
both of them.
AI and
In
quantum.
all of the projects, AI and quantum and mathematical optimization, all of them are together. It is not completely standalone.
Got it. So, all of you shared some really interesting use cases which are being, relevant for these sectors. one question that I have for you is that for all the use cases that you outlined, how many of them are being run on simulators versus the existing system today? Is it at the proof of concept or prototype stage, or is it something that can be deployed today? Let's first answer this question, and then I'm going to come back and ask about, when will certain things become available? So, Lakshya, do you want to tell us exactly what the situation is right now?
Yeah, sure. So we have a 25 qubit system, a superconducting system. And one of the specific aspects about the stack is that we are tuning it very exclusively for certain application specific scenarios. With that, the first application that we have tried is to calculate binding energies of certain protein and ligand systems. And we have run it on our 25 qubit device. We are using 21 qubits for that. So this is specific, or this particular work is around development of quantum algorithms for the chemistry domain and being applied to the process of discovery itself. So there are certain exploratory algorithmic building activities where the goal is to understand how the system behaves, how we can scale our algorithms with the number of qubits, and how exactly we can estimate the resources over a more scalable or a more complex molecular structure or a overall system. So this is an example of running these calculations on devices and estimating as the hardware technology matures, right? We have a 25 qubit system today. We are upcoming, there is a system with 64 qubits. So what we are doing is we are also analyzing that as the computational resources of the device scale up, what impact does it have on the actual problem, which is of paramount importance for organizations to decide upon their pace of adoption of quantum computing, right? So this is there, and as Shyam has also mentioned that one of the key aspects of developing any such solution is to maximize the utility of AI and high performance computing into it, right? All of these solutions are compound solutions. They use AI to front end many of these complex calculations, and very specific scientific or computational bottlenecks are treated using quantum computers. So this
So,
is an example.
so you are working with companies in the sector,
Absolutely, yes.
and are they doing prototypes right now, or are they? I mean, is it early stages? Are people just working on proof of concepts and prototypes so that they can be ready, or are they also moving forward? Where is what does the situation in the Indian market look like?
So, see, one of the aspects is that majority of the projects that we have done, they cater to the global pharma, industry
Okay.
across the global market. But these engagements have graduated from only an experimental or a prototyping stage to really serious engagements that take a multi-year roadmap and a strategy in place. That have a strategy in place, right? Because quantum computers continue to scale up, and there would be an inflection point where there would be exponential advantage in some form, either in acceleration or possibly the other scenario is that you can have more accurate calculations done, and these are really of a high value for their downstream task, right? So if I can calculate the energies better, I can have early detection of failure drug cases, drug-like molecules, without spending close to 800 or 900 million dollars on it for over 8 years or 10 years, right? So early detection. Then I can build a better compound library and then experiment with classical techniques to further optimize it, right? So they have these engagements have graduated over the course of 2.5 years, and we do see a deeper integration of drug discovery workflows, deeper integration of their supercomputing and high performance computing techniques, and traditional AI and quantum as it merges together.
Okay, great. And what about you, Anirban? Uh, what is the situation with the customers looking like?
Yeah. So it's like this, that without even quantum computers, there was always an interest to incorporate quantum chemistry as a part of drug development workflow for quite some time. And there has been that uptake more and more when the GPUs and the HPC came in. And quantum computer is now proving to be a full game changer in this business also. But so here is the question that the customers ask us, that okay, given a problem of synthesis, because drug discovery, there is so if I think of the initial virtual screening or the structure based drug discovery, then in those cases there is a lot of data that is available, but the customers find it very hard really to find even curated data or QM based curated data which are associated with designing a drug in the lab or synthesizing a drug in the lab. How do you make that drug in the lab? Because it's not that I just predict some drug molecule and it's available. You really have to find out means to produce it at least in some few milligrams, and at least a few milligrams of that drug is necessary to do any kind of spectroscopy or further on experiments to understand the stability, toxicity, characterize the drug. Even if you want to do some animal testing, how do you do that if you do not make it in the lab, right? So this is where actually customers have the very fast first question, that, and in fact this year, in fact, a lot of companies and pharma companies have themselves announced that it's going to be a very important year for catalytic reaction modeling. And moving forward, it is also tied up with the sustainability issue, because one of the very well-known catalyst that is used for drug making drugs, which is not biocatalyst, but for among the metal-based catalysts, one of the most basic ingredients is palladium. Now, palladium is a very rare earth object. It is not found in a lot of volume, but it is this palladium-based catalyst that is used in many of the workflows. I mean, in for many chemical synthesis, it follows something called the cross-coupling reaction.
So you need
And
to be very near to the mic, or because your voice is fading in and out.
getting muffled. Okay, I'm so sorry. Is it better now?
Yeah, much better.
Okay. So I'll just hold it at this pace. So what I'm trying to say is that one of the questions that the customers have is in the synthesis area, and it is in same it is area where we are pursuing both the threads. One is to make quantum chemistry of a higher accuracy, basically wave function based methods that involve entanglement, all of those stuff. So those classes of methods are very high end in accuracy, and they also are something that are inherently relevant for quantum computers, because quantum computers, the qubits naturally bring about that entanglement, and expressing a highly entangled wave function is very costly, because even if you take around even 100 qubits, if you consider you want to entangle, if you want to store the data of entanglement of basically in terms of coefficients on on a computer, you will see that you need around 10 to the power 75 numbers, and that is like close to 5 petabytes of memory. It's so huge that you cannot just store it even on the entire frontier supercomputer, for instance. But it's that is processed on a quantum computer, can be processed on a quantum computer if you have around 100 qubits, and you can get some important data out. But the question really is that then the question comes that how good is your depth, what is the reliability, because there are errors and all of that. So customers are looking for those class of problems that are of the 100
So
qubit
do
range,
the
and there are a
customers
lot of
even
papers out
understand
there.
that? No, no, I have a question.
Yeah,
One of
yeah,
the
they do.
things uh,
They do.
they would
So
understand that
depending on
they
who is
need
your
more
customer,
accurate
who
solutions.
who who is your customer, that's the first question to ask,
So
right?
who's your
if
customer?
you
Please
if
tell
you're
me.
right, right. So if your customer is, let's say, a head of some drug profiling, drug delivery, or a pharmacologist, right? They are actually have a background training in either chemical engineering or computational chemistry, and anybody who has a good training in computational chemistry also knows that all of that are basically approximations to solving the Schrodinger equation. And because of that background, they understand that it is a very hard problem to solve, and over time lot of intelligent methods have been developed over 35, 40 years. In fact, for if you consider DFT, then close to 70 years, where people have
Right.
developed a lot of fantastic concepts to solve it. So they have an understanding that what are the limitations of those approaches, and they do understand that there are case studies where they have
No, but
experiments.
is it Are they engaging with you enough at the,
Yeah,
so I
yeah,
understand, I want to take this because the audience is very mixed and I appreciate you going that deep, but I want to bring you back a step above this and say,
sure, sure.
you have an informed customer, I understand. Maybe not so informed
Yeah,
about quantum, which is where you bridge the gap, right? As a consultant. And then, of course, the tech teams that may be working with you from the quantum companies.
sure.
But which stage are the conversations or the work right now with these companies? Is it just proof of concepts,
These are all,
prototype?
no, these are all, these have crossed the proof of concept. These are engagements.
How many of the companies that
They
you're
are,
working with are from India? Are there any companies in this sector in India who are working with you?
Indian companies have shown interest. Indian companies have shown interest, but there are companies beyond India that have shown further interest, I would say
And
so.
they are doing much more. Okay, great. Thank you, Shyam. Over
Yeah.
to you. What is the current state of the, the various use cases that you define? Give us a bird's eye quick view on how many of those use cases, because in your case, you showed a big diagram and there were many use cases there. So how many of those use cases are still in prototypes space and how many are have moved forward? It is more strategic. And I'm very keen to have this discussion out here because when you go to the industry, especially the people who have not started adopting, a lot of them will tell you they've heard it is myth that you can do anything today. Even if you can do, you can only do prototypes. Even within the quantum industry, people who are working on applications, if they're not working deep enough with the right sector, they will come and tell you, no, no, this is all fluff right now, right? And then we've just heard the opposite from Laksha and Anirban, which goes on to prove that you have to be really working in that space to really know what's happening. And maybe that means that you can tell us when you talk, you also talk about the stuff which is still at prototype stage, so that people get a sense that it's a question of which use case are you talking about.
Yeah, so quantum sensing is definitely moving from POC to prototyping stage, pilotable stage, especially with the example of Sandbox AQ's CardiAQ. They are even doing clinical trials with one of their new quantum magnetometers that they are using it for uh, trying to study the magnetic field that is generated by heart. So if there is any blockage within the arteries, it will reflect with a corresponding electrical signal, and that will induce a corresponding magnetic image that can be captured, a magnetic field that will be captured by this sensor. And they are using AI on top of it to improve the signals that improve the readability of the signals that come from these sensors, and also try to increase the signal to noise ratio. When compared with the other sensors, these are very, very sensitive. So they pick up noise from even movement of the person and the other equipment that is there in the lab. So AI is heavily being used to traditional AI, not quantum AI. Traditional AI is being heavily used in those cases to improve the way the images that come out of these sensors are understood and given to the radiologist to make a better analysis or prognosis, whatever. And in India, we started a work with Indian Institute of Science with Professor Arindam Ghosh. Just a few weeks back, we officially launched it. We are working with a new type of sensor. Maybe in about a couple of years, it'll be materialized for mass production. But that is to handle other types of problems like scanning problems within the brain, etc. and all. So sensing is definitely moving in a way that you would expect an emerging technology to reach market sooner. There are challenges, however, with quantum sensors as well, as you want them to be portable so that they can be moved here and there easily. You don't want something like an MRI, which is very expensive, very huge. Um, and also integration with the existing biosystems. It's not like you have a separate equipment and you need to take a lot of good care of it, but it should go well within the existing bioinformatics infrastructure of the companies. So that is one. On the compute side, And these statements are applicable for all industries. Typically, in the Indian space, we look at customers who want to see what has been done outside in North America, in Europe. Can we try to replicate that? So they are little bit cautious, and in their risk appetite is little low when compared to the other people, and it's totally understandable. It's not a wrong thing as well. They just want to wait and watch till innovation happens elsewhere, so that the early adopters take the risk, and once it is a little bit mature, then they want to handle it. And we see that in the Asian market as well, not just in India. For example, in the insurance industry, I worked on a project which was successful in France, and we had to apply it in Japan. Japan waited until it was mature, and the project was completely different. Although the title of the project was some sort of optimization, but when we got into the details, they had newer ways of solving the same problem using their existing techniques. So we had to apply different quantum algorithms and try on multiple solvers. Initially, we thought that we learned something with the French project, and we went there, but we realized that this is much better, and we needed a tuning of it. In the same way, the Indian pharma or healthcare, they may not be the first ones to adopt quantum technologies, but I would strongly recommend that start, even if it is a POC stage, because of multiple reasons. One, it takes a lot of time to understand and implement quantum tech, especially compute, for their own problems. It is not like somebody has done it at Cleveland Clinic in US, it will work in Apollo Clinic in India. They have separate sets of business processes, and even the patients' records are completely different. That is why you see a lot of these traditional AI techniques, which radiologists in US have succeeded, but in India it is not, because the way uh, human beings over here are completely different from human beings over there, and the treatment patterns are also different. So they have a lot of knowledge within the healthcare companies in India. So I would recommend that they start looking at success stories of companies outside India and try to implement newer ways of how to address it, specific for their data, specific for their business processes. Even if it is like I have to wait for 2 years for a 100 qubit computer to come, but whatever is achievable with, let's say, Lakshya's 25 qubit computer, push it to the max extent and see what you can do with those 25 qubit computer. Because translating that business problem into a quantum problem, running it on QPI system, getting results and processing it, it takes many months of trial and error, and also a lot of mathematical discussions, physics, chemistry related discussions. And it can't happen in a snap after 2 years. If somebody says that I have 500 qubit computer, let's run this, it is not
Right.
that possible.
Right.
And the two other things is that these devices are becoming premium. In 2 years, you may be in a queue to access these systems and the teams that know how to run these systems. And third, the knowledge to execute these problems, if you start building them right now by leveraging a lot of the programs that the government of India and think tanks like QETCI will be executing, your in-house talent will know how to run these problems even at a very small scale. So when you have larger, more powerful quantum computers, you will be having your know-how 2 years in the past, and you can build on top of that and get to market much quicker.
Right. So I think fair enough. I think the message to if there are people in the audience who are from the life sciences and healthcare sector, one of the things that we will be doing after this as QETCI is organize roundtables and workshops specifically for the sector. This is a primer, and I think a very important point that Sham brought in. So first of all, if I want to summarize what I've heard till now, is that the sector needs to start looking at quantum. Especially in India, we seem to be a little behind in terms of what's happening around the world in this sector for adoption of quantum. But in India also, most of these companies are already using HPC and they're already using AI. So the pathway is pretty clear to start adopting quantum. Second is, developing a quantum team is not an easy task, right? So I think getting your team together is important, and these people need to start experimenting with all the variations of these use cases and what is most relevant for you so that as quantum computing matures and this thing becomes even now it is creating competitive differentiators, and more so as we get more computing available, as more sensors related solutions mature, right? I mean, one of the projects that I get fascinated by is that when IIT Mumbai and the sensors team actually demonstrated that they could measure the electromagnetic uh, the potential of a single cell. So it opens up questions on what are the possibilities for diagnostics in the future, right? So I think that's a great point to look at. I'm going to now ask all of you and say, what does the future look like? I believe that this is one of the sectors which is going to be hugely impacted by quantum technologies, not just computing. So, what does the future look like? What are the possibilities? And I want you to right now, we talked about practical stuff before this. Now you can, just be a little optimistic and say, if certain things work out, what could the future look like? So, who wants to go first on this? Lakshya, you're looking very eager to talk about it. So, over to you.
Yes, certainly yes, and there is a reason for that. So there are two pathways that we are following. One is the deep integration of AI and quantum together. Okay, by AI, I really refer to the deep biological and chemical intelligence that is inbuilt now with great computing power. And we do see that as AI and quantum merge together, the modeling and the compute capabilities would be phenomenal, right? So think about this. When we do quantum computing today, mostly we are doing some mathematical manipulations. Today is the time when we are translating those mathematical manipulations into physics and extending it to chemistry. But we are not there yet where with quantum computers we can tackle biology, right? So that journey is what we see, that journey becoming more and more probable and more scalable with fault tolerant quantum computing becoming available. Ourselves at QPI AI have a target to have a 100 qubit logical machine by 2030, and also with roadmaps across the world. So that's one way where we see that integration of error correction and AI would open up new possibilities. One example I would like to highlight here, as I mentioned, probably I could quickly take up the help of a graphic to explain that. Is this kind of a broader
Sure, sure.
blueprint,
Why don't you share that?
kind of a broader blueprint of how we see healthcare being transformed with quantum, with computing technologies initially, but with, of course, with more. Yeah. So this is our blueprint towards how we see quantum computing being applied to the domain of healthcare, not only into drug making or not only into clinical, but also beyond that, all the way from the molecular scale to the cellular scale, having the complexity increase by cells, then tissues, then organisms, and then at a population scale. And the key message here is that as the complexity of our systems increase, the modeling increases. There is a parallel pathway for us to experiment with different kinds of quantum algorithms, integrate them with state of the art AI tools and techniques. And this is to say that, in a sense, we would be able to truly simulate the behavior of our own biological systems and how we respond to medication, what kind of medicines should be discovered so that we can move from reactive diagnostics and reactive medication to more proactive, preventive, and predictive kind of healthcare. So definitely, as computing becomes more scalable and better, we see that this entire healthcare domain would converge into a big map. A second aspect that I want to highlight, which is not only into computing, but how we see quantum technologies integrating together. Right. So there is one of the projects that we are doing. which is to integrate data from quantum sensors and treat them with quantum computing based machine learning algorithms.
Still sharing something because we are unable to see that.
Oh, did you see my screen at all?
We did. Right now, I think you switched to the other mode, so you need to switch back to
Okay.
right now. Yeah.
Yeah. Right. So, what I was speaking about is the second way of having all of the quantum technologies being integrated. How can quantum sensing be integrated into the computing domain? So, that's also one of the ways in which we are looking towards the future, where quantum sensors, the data from quantum sensors could potentially be computed on a quantum device, and that would lead to better calculations around MRI, around radiology, around micro devices that could be fitted into the human body, so on and so forth. So we see that this is the pathway, and quantum will have a big impact on truly understanding biological systems and building medication and building better lifestyle choices, so that we can net to net we can get towards a better, a more healthier society.
All right. Thank you. Excuse me. Sorry. Uh, Sorry, it's raining a lot in Hyderabad and it's like I think
Yeah.
Zoom is really good
Yes.
because it's a thunderstorm and it's very loud, but you
Yeah.
can't hear it here. So Zoom has become very good at removing the noise. Um, so, Dr. Anirban, over to you. What is your perception of the future in for the life sciences and healthcare sector? What all can quantum do, if you know? And please please feel free to extrapolate stuff as well.
Right. So yeah, I think one. So I think Laksha showed a very nice slide where different parts of the healthcare and and life sciences domain were brought together. So and that's a nice one. Thank you. Now I would want to have one discussion which I think where many of the industries are moving towards, that is the green chemistry area, right? Because green chemistry is as important in drug synthesis as it's important in manufacturing, as well as in studying the degradation of drug products. So because uh, we are understanding slowly that the materials that we have been using to make our drugs, or the kind of solvents that we're using, the more the tests we do, the more the different kind of materials we use, there is a lot of toxic waste, there's a lot of toxic reagents that are generated. Also, this is also very important not only from the pharmaceutical sector, it's also very important from the cosmetic sector, because in cosmetic sector things are even more complicated. You have much stronger restrictions on them, because of obvious reasons, that you, for example, you have a face cream, for instance, you wash it down with water, and it turns out that the chemical with which you wash it down, that water, it didn't break it didn't break the chemical as it should have. So they keep on mixing with the marine aquatic ecosystem, and it causes a harm to them, right? So questions are, how do you come up with very novel molecules, rather not drug molecules, but rather I would say cosmetics, active cosmetic ingredients, as if to say that is the most important ingredient of a cosmetic material, which would let's say be very good at hydrolytic breakdown, that is breakdown with water effects, so that it doesn't. Or for example, there is another scenario that don't want face creams to be on your screen, and then they cause a lot of reactions on on the surface of it. So the future is basically like this, that I have a product or a material. How do I make sure that those products I don't have to throw out in a quick time because of regulatory issues? And the regulatory issues can come from green regulations, it can come from issues of how healthy it is to actually use it, or what are the adverse effects. How do you do initial prediction for that? Because we have so far used any of these simulations in industry, typically it has been used as a reactive approach rather than a predictive approach. So basically you react when you see that some experiments are not working or something is not telling you much data. It is slowly they want to move to a predictive approach where actually they can be used actively within an experiment, and the experiments could be streamlined, optimized, and the future really is that when quantum comes up with AI and quantum chemistry data can be generated in a lot of high volume and AI can process it, then we can create the next generation neural networks, right? If that can happen, we can create the next new machine learning models and they can do all this quantum chemistry calculations on the fly. And if they can do that, then they can actually be used to make thousands or hundreds of thousands of experiments be properly prioritized as a priority list or stacked in a different way so that we know what to do, which next to do. That is really that how an automation can meet accuracy, in so as to say. And if that happens, then we would be lowering attrition rates. We would be making sure that our things that we make are reliable, green goals are met. So all of that is like kind of like the future as far as I understand.
Sure. Shyam?
Sorry. Yeah, the future is bright. It will be better world with quantum compute or quantum technologies in general. But the reason I tell is, see, all of these interactions that we are talking about, let's say for drug discovery, trying to understand if a new drug molecule is suitable for solving a certain health problem and all we want to do is that find molecules that, let's say this is the molecule and this is the let's say this is the drug and this is the molecule, and you want to go closer and closer and see how the electrons between the drug molecule and the target molecule interact with each other. Those are called PPI or protein-protein interactions. Um, if we can simulate that in computers. Right now, we are using supercomputers and so many racks of GPUs to understand how the electron integrations or these proteins interact. Now, all of this is digital in nature, zeros and ones. All of this classical compute, which we have been using for the last 50, 60 years, is classical compute. But quantum in nature, the way the qubits are being used, let's say QPI, they're using superconducting qubits, and there are companies that use ion trapped and all. They operate in a fundamentally different level. And that is where these interesting properties of superposition, entanglement, interference, etc., all come. Now, using the exact uh, mechanisms to do the computations, you're able to do that only in quantum computing. And that is the same way how electrons interact, whether it is within the protein-protein interaction or anywhere else. In nature, if you see in photosynthesis, it is done the same way. Or even in the bio reactions that happen within your body, they happen at a microscopic level using quantum mechanical effects. So you're mapping how nature behaves at a quantum level in compute, in the quantum processing unit, and innovations and advancements are happening in such a way that in the next couple of years, you should be able to see problems that are not solvable by regular computers in a reasonable amount of time can be solved in a much faster, in much more efficient ways using quantum computers. And that I'm just talking about 2027. And there are programs that are being done at almost any continent. So you can expect that these improvements will just compound on top of each other. So by the year 2030, we will have many companies, many research institutions, even many students trying to come up with programs that can advance the way problems are solved. If it is healthcare, primarily because we are dealing with electron interactions, which is the foundation of what quantum processing is about, we should be able to see a lot more impact than what we have seen in the last 10, 15 years put together. Maybe in a year, quantum can beat what we have done in the last 10, 15 years using regular systems. That's my take.
Sure. So I think we are at 5:03. We have time for one more question, or we can start taking up the questions that people have given. Before that, I have an like a operational message. I think there are people who are joining with coded names. My request to all of you is to please display your real name. And Amukta is going to start putting you back into the waiting room if your name is not clear. And we'll put you back into the main room as soon as you display your name. Somebody who was named as ABC, September 19, JPA, etc., etc., is already waiting in the waiting room. So please, please be mindful. There is no need for anybody to not be displaying their room. If you, in real name, if in case you are having problems, just message us, message Amukta or myself with your real name, and we will change it for you. All right. Uh, okay, Roxa is Sai. So please, Amukta, please change the name. And coming back to this interesting topic, I see that we are, like Shyam said, very interesting and positive future for the sector in terms of applications. I think we had some amount of discussion on the sensors side. I want to now bring a little bit more focus on the sensors and say, given your knowledge of the quantum space overall, even if your current company is not focusing on sensors, could you think of, what the future of diagnostics could look like? Is this going to revolutionize diagnostics? And not from the computing perspective, there's a lot of optimization that can be done from the computing side. We've heard it from you. But what could the sensors themselves, is there some scope for new hardware and new kind of diagnostic solutions?
Can I take that question?
Yeah, sure. I would want everybody to take that question. Yeah, please go ahead.
Yeah. So I gave example of magnetometers for heart detection of issues in the heart. Basically, what we when we go to the radiologist, they use ECG and all. But the study in US has found out that a lot of the times the ECGs are not giving the right results. It's not a problem with the machine primarily. It is a problem with the clinician who is not able to put the probes at the right place. So the contact between the body, the chest is not happening, and they are not getting a proper reading. And second, as I said, the machines are getting degraded. The stability of the results is coming down. One alternative technique is magnetocardiography, which is already being used. But the problem is that those machines are very, very huge. They're not portable. And if you are looking at alternatives where you can have sensors at tier 2 cities or even villages, in the global south especially, you want more portable sensors rather than the larger machines. And that is where nitrogen vacancy based sensors that are being developed by Sandbox AQ, they work on the principles of quantum physics as a sensor, wherein they have a very portable sensor that is about the size of maybe 1/3 of the MRI machine. And then the patient can just lie down on the table. The machine will just come, not even touch the person. So there is minimal or to zero error of a human taking the wrong measurements. It will take the scan and they can just leave away. And later AI is used on top of it to improve the results that come out of these sensors. That is one type of sensor, and there are others which are being developed, several of them by IIT Bombay, I think, which is the Center for Quantum Sensing, primarily based on the T-Hub allocated by National Quantum Mission. And right now we are also working with the Indian Institute of Science, where they are working on light-based sensors, which give much more accuracy than what the existing sensors are giving. So there could be examples where drugs are sent into the body and light is activated, and based on light is passed, which will activate the drugs and destroy the cancer cells that the photosensitive drug has taken. And the other is they try to send light to certain probes within the body, and they can go deeper than what the existing conventional sensors are able to do. So this is still in research stage, maybe in a couple of years, based on the outcome of the joint research between Accenture and IASC and several other initiatives that IIT Bombay and others are working on. You should be able to see much more sharper resolution of results, more accurate results. And all of this is coupled with AI. It's not just quantum sensors do stand alone, but when AI is used on top of it to clean the data, to improve the signal to noise ratio, to make better visualizations and all, it will reach the benefits of quantum sensing in healthcare in diagnosis will reach much before quantum computers, which may take few more years to hit the success metric, maybe 2030, but sensors maybe 3-4 years down the line, 2-3 years down the line.
Raksha, what are your thoughts?
Yeah, I do agree. And I would like to also extend this idea that, as I mentioned in my response earlier, that we do see this different domains of quantum technologies converging. And one of the key projects that we are currently working with, it's a highly futuristic idea, but what we are trying to do is to have a quantum sensor co-located with the quantum computer, which is our device here, and reduce the distance between the quantum sensor and the quantum computer such that we can minimize the latency of information transfer between the sensor and the compute device. And probably, if I have a really classical problem, we need bigger quantum computers to process that data. But quantum data natively is very efficient to process on the device, right? And with this, the end application that we are trying to actually realize is to make MRI more compact, right? So ultimately, to have better imaging capabilities with more compact devices, lower cost devices, such that it can impact a bigger population and across humanity. So, from my side, I would say that.
So may not be called MRI then, no? It will be something else.
We will come with some new terminologies
Yeah.
right over the years as we see a lot of quantum component into it. But definitely, what I see is a lot of these diagnostic methods will be transformed. The treatments and medications and their interventions would be transformed, and this entire ecosystem will benefit humanity at a larger scale.
Sure, sure. Makes a lot of sense. Anirban, you want to add to this? And then we'll come to the audience questions.
Yeah. Yes, just to briefly add to it, yeah, of course, quantum sensing and sensors will have a lot of biomedical applications for sure. We definitely believe that quantum sensing is going to be one of the first candidates that will be adopted by the healthcare industry, and the data from there will also be adding onto the existing data and will allow probably again newer machine learning or AI models, which will enable diagnosis. Cardio diagnosis will have a very big role to play. That's what even a lot of quantum computing players have been reporting. So yeah, it will be very nice future to see.
Okay, great. So I think the future is looking bright, and there are so many applications for quantum in the life sciences and healthcare sector. And I think Anirban briefly mentioned quantum security as well. That's something that is applied to every sector. And since we don't know what the Q day is going to be, so everybody should be ramping up, including the life sciences and healthcare sector, especially because they are very concerned about IP in this space. So this is a very important topic for people who are working on drug discovery, or understanding what is the molecules they use, or special processes for their clinical trials, and so on and so forth.
Sure.
Isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. So
Yeah.
Hello.
now I'm going
Yeah,
to open up for questions. I'm going to request people to raise their hands, please. You can
Rina,
raise your hand by using the
Rina,
react.
am I audible?
Yes, you are. Who is this?
Yeah, this is Kiran. Okay,
Can you
shall I?
please switch on your video if you can, if possible?
No, video is already switched off. Video on, है क्या?
Video, no, it's audio is on. Okay, go ahead. Yeah, please ask your
हाँ.
question.
Yeah, can I get this Anirban and Syam Sundar uh, number?
So they will share their email ID on the message, and
Mhm.
please also you can connect with them on LinkedIn. Please share your
Yeah,
LinkedIn. Yeah.
I have already shared my LinkedIn profile.
No, no, no.
So
I'm asking the panelists to share their LinkedIn uh,
yeah, I have just shared
profiles.
my LinkedIn profile. So I need to discuss with them. That's why, please.
Sure. Anybody else has a question which can be
Yeah,
asked directly?
yeah, ma'am, I have a question. Can we use QPy AI quantum computer to run our algorithms?
So you have, is this Colonel Sai Shankar?
Yeah, yeah, ma'am.
So you have your own solutions for the algorithms uh, for this sector, you're saying?
No, yes, actually, what I'm saying, since QPI already have a quantum computer, and instead of we using foreign quantum computers like IBM to run our algorithm or test our algorithm, can we use QPI quantum computer if it is available? If it is not available, by when it will be made available? At least for testing purpose to see its capability, then economics will come into action.
So I think maybe Laksha and you can have the discussion offline. That's a partnership question, can't be resolved here, I guess.
No, no, ma'am, it is not a partnership. Many people want to see whether QPay quantum computer is available to run the algorithm. Just a simple question.
Okay. Laksha, you want to
I
answer that?
would love to answer that. So we do invite users to actually run their workloads on our machines, and we have various forms of access programs. So please connect with me offline. I'll provide you my email ID, and we can take it from there.
Yeah, thank you very much. And the
Okay.
second question I have for Shyam Sundar. Shyam Sundar, what I understand is that the various use cases of computing sensing for life sciences. Can you tell any one use case that has shown a better compared to a classical supercomputer with quantum computer has done today, or it is another 1 year or 2 years? Mr. Sham, should I speak again?
No,
Should
no,
I
no.
ask my
I understood your question.
yeah.
If the question is quantum beating classical, has it already beaten yet? I don't think so. But that doesn't mean that in the near future it is not going to.
So
Because if the complexity of the problem is going larger and larger, and the ability for quantum computer to solve it will be slower than what classical can go. We can have a separate discussion to understand
yeah, yeah.
deeper.
Okay, so on last query before I ask give the other members to ask. So do you expect that NISQ quantum computer will come up with some good thing, or we have to wait for FTQC quantum era?
There are different applications that can be achievable using NISQ and later with FTQC. If you want to solve a complete problem only on quantum, then you need to wait for FTQC. But that it may not be the necessity. You can try NISQ in combination with other emerging technologies or emergent technologies like Gen AI, traditional AI, etc. and all. It depends
Okay,
on
Mr.
the
Sham.
problem that you are trying to solve. I can't tell
Yeah,
you.
yeah. Got it. I will connect with you separately and have a detailed discussion. I think there is a good amount of answers we can have. Thank you, ma'am. I'm done.
Okay, thank you. Any other questions?
Yes, Rashmi here. I would love to understand if anyone can give me a use case to understand how quantum sensors or HPCQC integration or any other methodology is used for the medicine and medical device manufacturing area.
It's too early for that, if I'm not mistaken. I mean, right now, the quantum sensing, at least on the hardware side,
Yeah.
I don't know of any. I mean, there is this heart. Uh,
So,
okay,
look, I can give a little bit of insight in terms of manufacturing engineering side. So, when they prepare any tablet or any protein, so they do use a lot of sensors. For example, pH sensors, dissolved oxygen, all that. So, right now it is failing, very frequently. So they are working alternative methods, working with electrical engineers because of electrical temperature. The temperature is not correct or any electrical failure is there. So all that parameters they're looking after and working alternative method inside the bioreactor, both on upstream and downstream level. But I would like to understand in future any quantum sensors or any other methodology can replace and correct those pH and whatever the KPIs to work up to date inside the bioreactor and run the business without any hassle.
Um, I I may not be able to answer it right now, but I need to look at the exact physical quantity that you are trying to measure, and if there are any programs that are being in progress to develop quantum sensors to tackle that? Can we have a follow-up discussion on that? I'm interested to look at it from a bio
Yeah,
manufacturing.
yeah. I'll get in touch with you in LinkedIn. Thank you.
Yeah, sure.
And
Thanks.
Rashmi, are you representing the device manufacturing segment?
Yes, I do work on the manufacturing for both medical device and pharmaceutical and the protein preparation also. So, particularly engineering area and looking after their real-time data management, connecting with AI, machine learning, etc. But I have seen a lot of problems at the site level and the manufacturing space, and where the sensors are failing. And so I'm interested to
And
know.
where are you based out of, Rashmi?
I am in Ireland.
In Ireland.
Yes, I'm in Ireland now.
Okay, okay. So please do. You can reach out to Shyam. You can send an email to us also, so that we can open it up to the larger group. Because it looks like you're introducing a relatively new problem. Traditionally,
There are people talking about this that in future they like to utilize quantum sensors. There are companies which are working on sensors, but they haven't disclosed because of the confidentiality, etc.
right.
But I have no clue what they do and which company is using, what is the cost, economic benefit, production benefit. So I have no idea. So I thought I'll love
That's
to.
one of the problems that I'm currently working for the forum on advanced manufacturing related to multiple industries by healthcare.
Yeah, yeah.
Bio, one of them. Yeah,
Right,
let's
Okay.
have
right,
a separate
right.
chat.
And one of the
Sure.
things to do, Rashmi, is also to connect with the researchers in this stage, because most of the companies that are in stealth mode are also right now.
I lost your
You're on
audio.
mute. Trina.
I'm saying that it's also important to connect with researchers in this area right now, because it's most of the companies who are in stealth mode are also at the applied research stage. These are not full-fledged products that are out there in the market, as far as I'm aware. And of course,
Sure.
every day something
Okay.
new happens, so I may be wrong, right? But I do feel that you'll also benefit with connecting with a lot of people from the research side. If if you could drop your email, or you could reach out and connect to me on LinkedIn. I have already dropped my email. I will also initiate some of those connects for you.
Sure. Thank you, ma'am. Thanks, everyone. Or Sham, sorry.
Not a problem.
Any other questions?
Yeah, Reena, I have a comment, Pati here.
Yes, Pati.
Yeah, so just to introduce, I represent Strange Works, and since this topic is life sciences, I thought of sharing one of the success stories with which we had in US. This was in Johnson and Johnson in Maryland, I think. So we have supplied a complete quantum platform with AI tools, and project ran for 1 year, and they're multiplying the licenses. So I will share the exact nature of work in the group later on, but I just wanted to convey that yes, we are in the life sciences customer segment too.
Yeah, Pati. I like Sandbox Secure's work, especially in the field of large quantitative models. Rina, if you give me 1 minute, I'll try to explain how it is helpful. So not related to quantum, but in general about these large language models that we see. We use text as if it's like a co-pilot, etc. and all, and they learn a lot through the open internet, etc. Now they have started learning through the journals, newspapers, and all. What Sandbox IQ is doing is it is trying to read through all of the medical related documents, medical related books, surgical manuscripts, etc., and all, trying to build a corpus of data and feed it into its AI models to make sense of how better medicines, better treatments, better diagnosis, all of them can be done. And it's actually a spin-off from Google, so you can expect a lot of innovation from Sandbox IQ.
Yeah, Sham, I don't know if you misunderstood. So this company is called Strange Work. This is an Austin-based company.
Oh, sorry. Sandbox IQ.
Yeah, I just sent you the link privately.
I'm extremely sorry. Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah,
no
no
worries.
problem.
We got to know about two different companies in the process.
Yeah.
But so, any other questions? Final questions before we wrap up?
Yeah, we have one question, ma'am. How can quantum machine learning be effectively applied to predict drug-like properties or generate novel compounds?
Wants to take that up, Anirban?
I think if you want to, so there are different layers to this question. If you are just talking about finding targets, drug or finding rather drug candidates for a given target, then I think AI machine learning is already doing a great job. But if you're asking the question about among them, whether we can find out the right candidates for lead optimization, or we want to find out the right approach for drug synthesizing the drug, then the thing is that depending on the nature of your use case, it could be that if you're talking about a very large biomolecule, you may need to do something like an optimization, a quantum optimization approach for that. If you're looking at small molecule drugs, then where the quantum chemistry properties are computed at higher accuracy, you may need to upgrade your computational chemistry calculations with quantum assisted approaches. But again, some of them, or actually most of them, will not run on your quantum computers so efficiently right now. But there are quantities which are of relevance to pharma companies, like spectroscopy and other things, which are properties which are very hard to compute. And there has been a lot of work in this area of finding out novel quantum algorithms for predicting the drug like properties, which are arising from reactions or synthesis of the drugs. So that's my answers. Mhm.
Okay, we also have a question from Swati Priyadarshini. She is asking if quantum AI is currently slower than classical AI, and what are the technical or practical reasons behind this performance gap?
Well, the quantum component is I mean, it depends. So if you are talking about quantum machine learning based approaches, then there are also some positive points there, like that you may need lesser amount of data, or may need good lesser amount of data for handling it. But if you're saying that quantum AI is faster or slower than classical AI, well, it could mean that if it is about using quantum hardware in combination with your AI models, then it's that the data that is generated from the quantum hardware, of course, will have a higher overhead to pay in order to for error mitigation, right? Because you need to mitigate in order to get reliable, usable data for your AI models. On the other hand, there are other aspects of quantum AI as a whole, which is to use AI itself to correct errors in data. So depending on what aspect you're talking about, uh, faster or slower can be questioned. Because if I think of using AI, well, AI is going to accelerate error mitigation to quite an extent, and there is a lot of work going on. In fact, that was one of the important topics of discussion in the NVIDIA's conference this year earlier, when AI was or machine learning was considered one of the very positive, important ways of making quantum computers better. But if you're trying to say that how quantum can be used, quantum data can be used for within an AI model to predict something, well, of course, generating that quantum data and also counting for a mitigation, everything will make it entirely slower as of today. Yeah.
Now, I have a question for everyone now because somebody asked that question. Looks like, we have a very engaged group over here and people who are very interested in this topic. I'm thinking I will create a Google, a group of a group together where we can communicate and share information with each other. Is there somebody who does not want to be included in the group?
So you can create WhatsApp group that will be really helpful for us.
But we don't have everybody's phone numbers right now from this group.
So we can provide it. No, otherwise you can create Discord. That will
Yeah,
be a
let everyone share their mobile number. That will be easy for communication.
Yes, please. So please share your mobile numbers.
I have shared. I
We'll
have
create a
shared.
WhatsApp group, and also we will try and create a Google group, if that works better. Because sometimes you want to share documents, etc. Right? So that might be easier to do it on a Google group. But WhatsApp group also will be created. So please share your phone numbers. And we will create a group and share the QR code with the emails for everyone to join as well. We are towards the end. Any last question while people are adding their phone numbers?
Yeah, Reena, I would suggest a Google group because that's a little more stable and used in a laptop instead of a WhatsApp. WhatsApp can
Yes.
be cluttering, yeah.
Yeah, so I'll do both because some people are more comfortable in terms of, okay, send me some information which I can check on WhatsApp, but the details can be in the Google group. So whoever wants to be in part of the, definitely Google group is getting created for everyone. But whoever wants to join the WhatsApp group can also join.
Thank you.
Yes, KLN, please tell your name first before you have this last question. Somebody called KLN has a question. Please unmute yourself and ask the question.
Hello everyone. Sorry if no one is asking. I have a small question.
Yes.
Shall I proceed?
Yes, please go ahead.
Yeah, myself Mohammad Tabriz. So specifically, my question is off the topic, not from the life science, but I come from a cybersecurity background. So
Okay.
hope I can give that irrespective of this session.
Yeah,
So I
please.
just wanted to understand from Sham, Lakshan, Anirban, and Reena ma'am from your side. So what the stage at which the quantum computing has been introduced in the cybersecurity aspects? Because recently, because I totally work in purely cybersecurity industries in IT and the OT infrastructures, and there is heavily investments going on the quantum computing for the cybersecurity aspects. But recently we had heard a few, I think a year or 6 months ago, China had recently cracked the RSA encryption, which today we hail that RSA encryption is the best among the world, which to crack the RSA encryption, normal computer, supercomputer takes some 1,000+ years, but quantum computer can.
I understood the question. Maybe we are already
So
out of time. I
where
think.
India it is, and is that any Indian company is doing something on
Yeah.
those aspects?
So take a look at
Sorry
what
to
labs
just a
and
second,
other
please.
companies are doing. They are.
Sorry to interrupt you guys. Tabriz,
Yes, please.
I need to connect with you because I need to discuss with you regarding on this point. So I'm just sharing my number here with mail ID, so you can connect me over there. We need to discuss on that, please. Okay.
Yeah, please don't
Yes.
disturb the flow of the conversation. You
Okay.
can connect. Everybody has shared their email, right? I think the answer to your question, if I may give that answer, is that there are many Indian companies who are working on different aspects of quantum security. Colonel Shai Shankar, who was earlier asking a question, actually represents a company called Q Clairvoyance, which is focused on PQC solutions, post-quantum cryptographic solutions. There are many companies like QNU Labs, and Quantum AI Global and several others, Dirac Labs, 42 Labs, and so on, who are all focused on different aspects of quantum security. Please connect with us separately. We can connect you to some of these companies if you are interested in reaching out to them.
Sure, ma'am. Thanks.
Yeah? All right.
Madam, I'm sorry, I could not unmute. Can I ask you one last question, one basic question? I'm Lakshmi Natmar, KLN here.
Yes.
Yeah, just one basic question. I was, as I was engaging in this into discussion into life sciences. So, what would have been the situation if we could have advanced quantum computer during COVID time? I mean, we would have been there formulation development in early stage, or is there would have been any time saved? Can somebody throw some light on that?
Yeah, at that point of time, quantum was not that mature, but there were GPUs that were being used to try to understand how the inhibitors or whatever, I don't remember the exact name, how they attach to the target protein, etc.
In India, nothing much was
not in
happening
India,
in
not in
India.
India.
In India, especially apart from the research organizations, 2020, there were few startups which were working in
Yes,
stealth.
yes, correct,
Yeah.
madam. That time it was not there. I'm just giving an imaginary situation would
Yeah,
have been
be
there, let us
prepared.
suppose.
Yeah, better technologies to be prepared for future pandemics. First of all,
Yes.
pandemics should not come. But if they come, we should be prepared.
We should be better prepared. Yeah, thank you very much. To some of the panelists have left because we've overshot the time. Thank you, Shyam, and thank you to all the other panelists who was there. Thank you to the audience. We had around 45 people at the max. This is like we had 50 plus registrations and almost everybody joined. And so that shows the engagement and the interest in this topic. We'll definitely continue our conversation on this topic through the group, but we may have another session with another set of people to, look at other aspects as well. And thank you to everyone. Have a good day and rest of the week. Thank you. Bye.